You're watching Science of Joy. I'm Boriana, and this is
I'm Shalhavit, and I'm the Happiness Fairy. And we're really excited to share some more Science of Joy with you. Today we're going to talk about change, and is change possible? Apparently 10 years ago, scientists were really, or psychologists, said that kids, by the age of 10, or there was a big controversy. Some people said 4, but at a very young age, we were told that our brain doesn't change anymore, and that was the theory for years. And today we actually know that our brain, the way that our brain is composed, actually changes forever. You keep on changing all the time.
Which is great. I always felt uncomfortable with the old idea that change is not possible.
Yeah.
But so I'm really glad and excited that finally neuroscience found out that you can actually bring about change in your brain and in your life as well.
So we wanted to share with you a little bit of facts about change. We're going to talk a little bit about the neurological side and the psychological side.
And the practical application in your life.
So the first thing is change is possible. Research today shows that basically our brain is created from neurons, which is a type of cell, right? Like we have blood cells. Our brain is created from those cells, and the way that the cells are communicating, the cells basically like, breaking down the brain to the small units. And they're little particles of cells, right? They communicate with each other through neurotransmitters, which are kind of, let's say little streams, right? And they shoot information back and forth, right? So let's say this is a cell, and that's the connection where they shoot. Now, this connection, kind of like a lot of biological things, if you repeat it, it gets thicker and thicker, kind of like a muscle. If you keep on using a muscle, the muscle gets thicker and you become a bodybuilder. But you could be a brain bodybuilder. If you think a thought, or if you practice a thought that you want to have more prevalent in your brain and just be with you more in the day, you basically, all you need to do is practice that. If you want to change, you just practice that change or behavior. If it's a behavior that you want to practice, you just got to do it over and over. And those cells in your brain, they shoot, right? So they have this connection, and they shoot, and then, the connection, they keep on shooting.
Synapses.
And they keep on shooting, and it gets thicker, and that connection is much stronger now, and it's going to be more prone to shooting, and you're going to tend to behave that way more, just from practicing, and practice makes wonderful.
So think of it as a little stream of, like a tiny little brook. When it's smaller body of water, less water is flowing, it's not as big and strong. But once it grows, if there's more water in it, it becomes a strong big river that flows much freely and takes more space. So in the same way, or a smaller path and then a big highway that actually can transfer a lot of cars, for example, or people. So in the same way, information can go through the bigger highways in your brain that are the neural pathways.
Right, and basically that stream, now the stream is thicker, or that pathway basically is bigger. Think about that stream. It's harder to destroy that stream because it's so big already. And that's the same thing with your cells. So that's about the change in the brain level. In behavior though, and it's all kind of connected. If you really want to change something about yourself, let's take an example. Give me an example of something you want to change.
If you want to start exercising, for example.
That's a very, very simple one. And a lot of people have that. We want to exercise more.
Everyone.
Or we want to exercise less. Or we want to exercise in a better way. Right? We have this thing, a routine that we want to start. Routine is actually a secret, right? Because it's really, change is a routine. at the end of the day. And routines are very, very hard to...
We don't
to
have that much discipline actually in us.
Right.
So it shouldn't take discipline.
Right. When you really want to have something, you have to make sure that it happens over and over. Otherwise,
that it becomes a habit. You don't have to exercise discipline to do it.
Now, in order to make something into a habit, it's really, really hard to introduce habits because, try to think of brushing your teeth, right? It's something that you do every day and hopefully, and you get used to it. And it becomes an automatic thing because it's a ritual. When you were a kid, it might have been a little bit hard. A baby, for example, it's annoying for the baby every time. And maybe a kid starts forgetting, but after a while it becomes a ritual and becomes like a second nature. Just like driving. Remember the first time when you started learning how to drive, it was a little bit awkward and you had to look at the mirrors and look at the side and press the handbrake and everything, and not the handbrake, sorry, my English. Yeah, to change the shift, the gear shifts, and after years of driving, you just do it automatically. You could see the mirrors at the same time as you're doing this. So something about a new thought that you wanna introduce or a routine, and it starts with baby steps because starting routines is really not easy, and often we have a lot of routines, for example, that we want to introduce. We have I want to do
gratitude journal, I want to change my diet,
I want to start exercising.
Yeah, I want to make more time for my friends, I want to start sleeping more, going to bed earlier, waking up earlier, reading more books. There's a whole lot of to-do or wish lists that we want to change, or resolution lists, especially around New Year. All the things that we want to do differently, that we want to bring about, those small incremental changes. But apparently it takes about 2 to 3 weeks at least, or a month, up to 6 weeks even, to actually internalize that new one thing. So for example, pick and choose, choose your top 1 or 2 priority changes. Just one is the simplest way. Introduce that. Maybe it's running for half an hour every day.
It's really, really hard to choose one thing. But
it's hard, but I mean,
but that's the only way that it works.
Yeah, see what's most important in that moment in your life. Maybe you want to play the guitar every day for 10 minutes, or read a book, and try to set yourself for success as if you're trying to help a little child. So, for example,
how do you set yourself for success? What does that
well,
mean?
you do little tricks that can help you actually get yourself around to doing what you're planning to do. For example, if you want to start a gratitude journal, buy a nice book, that notebook that you love. You love the pages, you love the cover, and leave it somewhere so it's pleasant for you to actually do it. Leave it somewhere where it's gonna be convenient for you at the time when you wanna write your gratitude journal, and that's also important to have a...
What do you mean? Live in a place.
Leave it, for example, on your nightstand or on your desk, somewhere where you'll be there.
Noticing it.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be, oh, where's my gratitude journal? Let me look for it. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, there's the 5 minutes that you could be actually writing. You spend them looking for it, or going to the other room to get it, or something like that. Make it a regular. For example, I'm gonna be writing every morning when I wake up. If you have the time in the morning, you leave it on your nightstand. You wake up, you write down 5 things that you're grateful for.
If that's
the change you want to introduce. Right. If you want to be running and you're a mom with a bunch of kids and you don't have the time, maybe when you're taking them to school, just put on your running shoes and some sporty clothes, drive everyone to school,
Oh my God.
kindergarten, wherever, and then go directly in the park, by the river, by the ocean, do your run, and go back to your house.
And you're
do
already
everything
set.
else.
You're set yourself for success.
Yeah.
You're already wearing your workout clothes.
You want to read a book, leave it next to your couch on your coffee table, so that when you sit down, instead of turning on the TV,
it's already there.
It's already there.
And that is setting yourself to success. And we're going to give you a few tools, and again, you could choose what really works for you. So we're going to get into some of the details. So like Mariana just said, setting yourself for success is key. You know, making the things available for you.
So it's
I
something,
find-
pleasant. Minimize the time to actually get around to doing it.
I find also that it's very hard for me sometimes to even set myself, right? So this is for the weaker amongst us, like me, right? And another aspect, and we're going to talk about routines and goal settings, right? Some people take a coach, like we're going to mention Boriana and I both practice, and we're going to leave our information on the screen. But so, you know, what a coach should do with you is really go through the goals and sit down and write them. And the social component really helps. It's part of the secret of a coach. I'm already telling you the secrets. But, you know, you have someone that you're committed to. And, you know, if you could do that with a friend, friends are not professionals, but friends are amazing. And if you could do that, that could also be awesome. And you know, that setting yourself up for success, which you said is really, really important. Sometimes even starting that is hard, right? So that's the baby steps, and you know, doing that small step. So there's two things here. One is social component. If you could get someone to do that with, or a buddy to run with,
buddy up for accountability. Yeah.
For me, it's actually going to be a buddy.
Motivation.
For me, it's going to be a buddy to read with. I find it very hard to do my homework by myself, and to do, like, you know, laptop work by myself. Most of my friends know that sometimes I contact them and say, hey, would you like to get together and do our work? You know, so I need that. And you know, I'm an extrovert. Introverts might want their time alone, and you know, so there are different things that work for different people. I personally, you know, the social component helps, and starting those baby steps, right? You know, so there's a baby step of just putting on your shoes. A step before that is even getting the shoes, or you know, or even putting the shoes on the side so you'll remember to put them on in the morning. Each one of those steps is, remember when we started with those neurons? Each one of those steps shoots in your brain as action. There was a movie a few years ago called The Secret, you know, and you know, saying if you only think good things, you know, only good things are going to happen to you. And scientifically, it's not totally accurate. There are things that are incredible, and that's really, you know, you're starting with the thought, but you got to connect it to action. And what happens in our brain is when we act on something, even the smallest action registers as an action. And, you know, it's already a registered connection in your brain that said, I am capable of acting on this. Even if it's just putting those sneakers next to your bed, right? That's already an action. And your brain registers that it's an action, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, there's sneakers next to my bed. That neuron remembers that I did an action about working out. Now it's not going to be that hard to put on the sneakers. The next baby step would be maybe talking to your friend during lunch break saying, I want to run, right? Adding that social component too, but it's another step. And then finally you're in the park and you already built yourself for success. You did all those baby steps and you're ready to start running. And those steps are not less important than the action itself of running. You know, just the fact that you put your sneakers next to your bed is amazing. And you should give yourself, you know, just a pat on the back for just setting yourself up for success. And you know, and it could be that that's all you did. That's all you did. I only put my sneakers next to my bed and nothing else happened. That itself is already one step towards your new routine. And you know, and if it doesn't work, contact us or contact a friend to help you, someone that you think that's willing to help you commit to that change.
And give yourself permission to be human. So maybe you started with your routine, you were sticking with it for a week, and then the 8th day, oh, you didn't have time to go for your run or write in your gratitude journal or anything that you've committed to, that's okay. As long as you come back to it, don't be hard on yourself, just come back to it. It's okay to sometimes miss out a day or two of whatever routine you're starting, and just go back to it. Persistence, but also patience, that it takes a while to bring about change, but just think how much important it is to you to bring about positive change in your life, and just stick with it.
And it's so beautiful when you have it there. I had just you know, that amazing feeling that I just have to share, like, you know, when you do one of those things, it is so worth it. I painted my room. That was a big project for me, you know. And you know, I had to, like, you know, what were my baby steps? Oh, there's so many. You know, I spoke about it for so long. And then I personally, you know, my personality, I had to call a friend. And then, you know, the next step was, you know, going to the store and then moving things from the room. And then finally my room got painted, and I'm so happy with it. And that's, I can't explain how rewarding it is to do these small things. Which reminds me of visual reminders, right? And that's one of my coaching secrets that I know many coaches use, but sometimes it's very hard to change a habit, or introduce a new habit, or both. And what I kind of find in my training is that when you connect a habit that you want to introduce to yourself, to your life, and you put it together with an old habit, it's going to be prone to stick. So, you know, it's hard for me to start. So, you know, so one of my changes is more, it's more on a thinking level. I want to think more. I have self-esteem issues, and I want to work on them, right? So there, you know, besides a lot of other active things that I've been doing, I put a note next to my toothbrush, right? The toothbrush is an action, it's a routine that I already have. So practicing, so adding that practice and putting that little sticky note on my toothbrush. Every time I pick up my toothbrush, I look at it, and as I'm brushing my teeth, I think about it. And, you know, and that statement that I put, which I'm not going to tell you, but the statement that works for me and I need to hear, is there every night when I brush my teeth. And it's starting to become a norm in my head. And there's so many of those.
That, I think, can be another session, because it's a very interesting also way to
visual reminders.
Help yourselves. So it's a great tool, and also connects with how you can change the way you think or the way you feel, and the way you act. And we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah.
So stick around and watch us again.
So yeah, so really happy to you know, introduce you to change, and maybe take some homework and think of, you know, the smallest thing that you want to change. And we'll give you an example. I wanted to start learning how to use a camera. And my baby step would be to go to the Harvard lab and rent a camera. And I'm going to do this. Promise. That's going to be a step. And maybe on the way there I'm going to have to call someone to give me that motivation to go and do that. How about you?
So I've actually just committed to finish up a painting next week. So I've already cleaned up my studio, and I've made it nice and easy and pleasant for me to
So you set yourself for success.
Yeah. And actually now get down to the real work.
All right. Well, good luck, kids. Good luck, everybody. We love you, and we're hoping that you'll set yourself up for success. And our information is below right here. Feel free to contact us on any question, and we'll see you in the next episode of Science and
Bye.
Joy.
Stay well.